I've been trying a lot of new apps, and ever since iOS 26, there's been lots of updates with new widgets and designs. Some of these widgets are from the apps already built on your iPhone, some are from third-party apps, and many are interactive, meaning you can tap, use, swipe around, and interact with the widget without ever opening the app. So whether you're tracking your steps, the current tides, keeping score for a game of Scrabble, want a quick way to play some ambient music, see upcoming movies, and more, here are some of my favorite iPhone widgets. First up, in iOS 26, there's a new ambient music widget. You can have multiple sizes, and whether you're trying to get to sleep, play some chill music, or productivity, you can quickly start playing one of the Apple Music playlists built in right from the widget. So you can choose bedtime and sleep, or choose from one of your playlists right here. You can even choose newer Apple Music playlists like your favorite songs, and that will appear right here in the widget. And remember, you can always stack widgets, and I'll be showing you multiple stacks in this video, but just search for Ambient here when you're adding widgets, and the Ambient Music widget comes in small and medium sizes. Next, if you'd like to set timers for productivity or just to keep track of how long you've been working on something, the Focus app has a great widget that's interactive. Right here on the home screen, I can start a focus session with some of the pre-made timers, and then you'll actually see that timer counting down live right here on the widget. You don't even have to go into the app. This is using the free version, but there is a paid version if you want even more features. You can sync your tasks, timers, and statistics, and even use it on Apple Watch. $7 a month or $40 a year. Next, if you want a really nice looking countdown widget, maybe to an upcoming trip or event, the Apple Invites app is actually great for this. I added an event here just for myself. This is counting down to Dub 26. Maybe I'll be able to go in person again this year. And you can create events where you're going to invite other people or just for yourself. And whatever font you choose for the event here will actually be used in the widget. You can set your date and time. Then you can upload an image of your own and that will be used in the widget, or you can have Apple Intelligence generate something. I'll just use the green color down here, tap preview, and then once that event is created, you can have the widget show your next upcoming event or choose a specific event. So right now it's just going to show whatever's coming next, so Google I/O in 11 days. But if I tap in and tap the Invites widget, you can show next upcoming, or toggle that off and then just choose a specific event. So I can choose Dub, and now that's what will be shown on the widget. Next, if you like tracking steps versus the moved minutes that you normally see on Apple Watch, Pedometer is the app to get. He also had a huge update, especially with maps on Apple Watch. It's a beautiful app. It also looks great on Apple Watch. I just woke up this morning, so I'll get some more steps in. But if you want to be able to see your step count right here in a widget, you can have it just like that. And Pedometer has a bunch of widget options. So search for Pedometer once you download the app, and you can see your step count in small and medium. You can have your goal completion with the little ring, and even a daily step graph, light and dark mode widgets, and just the daily counts real big. And again, the design on Apple Watch really stands out, especially if you're going to do a lot of outdoor hikes and walking in different areas where you want to have beautiful maps right there on your watch. Pedometer is the way to go. Next, I'm actually going to switch over to my default focus mode or no focus mode because this is my main home screen. You know what, I'm thinking I want a different wallpaper. I'll run my shortcut here, right there in the action button, which I did a whole video on my top shortcuts for the action button. I'll link that video above, or you can scan the QR code here. There we go, and the wallpaper just changed. That's from Basic Apple Guy. And the next app that I've really been enjoying is Sequel. With Sequel, you can track TV shows and movies. The app is beautifully designed. You have upcoming movies releasing in theaters here. You have a watch list, and you can even create collections for movies you want to see with your family, maybe just you and your spouse or yourself. And the widget can be multiple things. So if I edit this stack, I can search for Sequel right here, and you can have an individual movie widget with the release date coming up. You can have your watch next queue there in your medium-sized widget. You can also have a search and quick access to different collections, out now, and that's what I have in my widget, the upcoming. But if you're really excited about a single movie, just doing that countdown, then you can tap and then edit the movie that you want to be counting down to. Let's go with Spider-Man. And then that can be a medium-sized widget on your home screen or in a stack. I also use widgets like this to launch the app itself, and Sequel also syncs with your Tracked account. Tracked plugs into different apps, and that is a benefit of Sequel Plus. Sequel Plus is either $3 a month, $5 family, or $20 a year, and I started paying for it because I think this is how I'm going to track my movies and TV shows specifically going forward. Next, real quick, I use things and reminders interchangeably. I have them both here on my home screen, but over here in my Today view, not only do I have a bunch of shortcut widgets, which we'll get to, and Foodnoms, that's coming later, but if I scroll down here in the Today view, I actually have things and reminders, and what I love about these widgets is they're interactive. You can literally check things off as you do them. So if I'm ready to check off this reminder, I can just tap it here in the widget and it's marked as done. When I'm finished filming this video, I'll tap the Friday shoot and finish that in my Things app. Being able to quickly check off things from the widget without ever opening the app, I really love that. Let me go back to my filming focus mode here because I have home screen set up for the different widgets. And the next one is actually a little bit of a hack. I actually created a couple shortcuts that will hack a photo album widget to show either the NASA photo of the day or an inspirational quote. So what I've done here is created a photo album just called Widget. And then I have a couple shortcuts, and I'll link these down in the video description. But this gets the NASA photo of the day, and then for that specific album, all the way here at the bottom, if you call the album something different, make sure to change it here and here. It removes all the previous photos from that album, and then just adds today's NASA photo of the day. I also have it overlaying text so you can see what NASA titled this image right here. I thought that was a fun way to kind of hack that widget. And I also did another hack to show an inspirational quote using a medium-sized widget. So I'm going to tap Edit and add another photo widget. When you're adding a photo widget, I'm going to go past the featured ones and then just choose a specific album. I'm going to tap and drag this to make a smart stack here at the top. And then I can go in and then edit this particular widget. I can choose an album here. This time I'll choose the Quotes album. Always display in full color, and this Quotes widget is actually pretty cool. It shows you an inspirational quote, who said it, and even puts it overlaid on a nice image. And that image is actually coming from Pexels. I call this my Quote of the Day widget. This one is pulling quotes from inspiringquotes.com, new quote every day, and it's also using Pexels, which is a royalty-free image website, getting a random image from one of these searches, and it will change every time you run this shortcut. And it does the same thing like the NASA photo widget, removes all photos from the Quotes album, and then adds the new one. Now when I ran this, it has a new quote over a new image, and if we go back to the widget, now it's showing that new quote with the new image right there. And if we tap it, you'll see that album still only has that one image. I thought that was pretty fun. You can download that shortcut and automate it to run every morning, and you can have another quote in a widget every day. Now I have another smart stack down here, and regardless of what AI app you use, all of them have pretty good widgets, either to jump into voice mode, do a text chat, or a photo. Here's the Claude widget, you have Gemini with very similar features, and ChatGPT. For this one, let's actually use ChatGPT and see if it could find it. Jumps into the camera, I'll take a picture, I'll ask it, where can I find this to buy? Yeah, not exactly ChatGPT. Anyway, they all seem to be struggling right now, but I'll put a link to Etsy if you want to get this 3D printed one down below. Speaking of AI, I've wanted to up my investing game, but also use good AI tools that I can trust to help me make better decisions. Well, that's where today's sponsor comes in. Public. With Public, you can invest in stocks, bonds, options, and more while bringing AI into every part of your investing experience. And Public just launched something called Generated Assets, something I've not seen being used with AI in investing before. Here's how it works. You type in an idea like AI-powered supply chain companies with positive free cash flow, or defense tech companies growing revenue over 25% year over year. And then Public's AI dispatches a swarm of agents that can scan every single US stock, evaluates them, and instantly builds a custom index around your thesis. And what really stands out is how clearly it explains why each stock was chosen. And before you invest, you can even backtest your idea against the S&P 500, so you're making decisions with real context, not just guessing. And beyond generated assets, Public lets you invest into stocks, bonds, options, and crypto all in one place. And yes, they have a great iPhone app designed beautifully and easy to use. And they'll even give you an uncapped 1% match when you transfer your investments from another platform. So if you want to build a platform that actually reflects your thesis, scan this QR code right here or check out the link down in the video description and you can sign up for public.com today. This was paid for by Public Investing, full disclosures in the description. Scan this QR code, check out that link below, and my thanks to Public for sponsoring this video. Next, this app earned a place in my dock several months ago when I started tracking all my calories and food and things like that. And one of the things I love about it is its widget. I keep its large widget here in the Today view, and I can actually quickly log food right here without even opening the app. So I typically have cold brew with protein every morning, and I can just tap relog and I'm done. And this widget is super smart. It has suggestions for the particular day or what I've typically eaten at certain times of day. And so many times I can just swipe over, tap log, and not even open the app. Foodnoms also has great widgets for keeping track of your goals. I put it on the lock screen. That's the Foodnoms calorie widget right there, so I can see how much I have left for the day. And Foodnoms has a ton of widgets you can use. You can put your calories as a small size widget there. You can put multiple goals in a widget and actually choose which ones are shown. You can have it in a small widget like that. Lots of different visual options. You can have your streak widget, calories across the week, and you can have those log food widgets either as medium, large, that's what I have in my Today view, even have your favorites in a little small widget, and do lots of quick actions for Foodnoms. Foodnoms is an incredible app. It is free to try. I do pay for Foodnoms because I found it just to be absolutely incredible. It was also redesigned after iOS 26 with liquid glass, and I pay for the family version because me and my wife have started using it, It is $70 a year or $6 a month, just individual, $10 for family. If you're looking for the best food tracking app, Foodnoms has been amazing. And if you want to see how my calorie tracking is going, you can watch videos from like 7 months ago till today. Now, this is my main home screen that I use Monday through Friday during the workday, and I'm going to go through some of the widgets here in the top stack. That's Mercury Weather, which we'll come back to, but Fantastical is key. That's where I do all my events. I don't even have the icon here on my home screen because I interact with the widget more often. I love this widget in particular. You have the full month view here and then upcoming events here on the right. You even have weather and temperature, which is kind of cool. And this is interactive. I can literally scroll through month by month, see the different events, and even tap a day like Thursday, July 2nd, and see what's on my calendar. So I can tap the month view, see what's on each day, and then scroll back and forth. I can also add an event quickly by tapping the plus icon here, and it'll jump me right into the Fantastical app. I know a lot of people are unsure about paying for a calendar app, but calendaring is such a big deal, especially with shared calendars with family, and Fantastical has so many great widgets. This is the one that I use, the event list plus calendar. You can have large size widgets, small widgets for the event list. You can have the date real big with your event list if you don't want to see the month view. Just a ton of different widget options for you. And if you just want to see the date really big everywhere you go, like David Sparks, you can do that too. David Sparks is my co-host on Mac Power Users. I co-host that with David. New episodes every Sunday. You can scan here to listen or watch Mac Power Users on YouTube. I also really love the lock screen widget for Fantastical. When I have an upcoming event, it can show right here, and you can choose what calendars you want to appear in the widgets. And this is my stock lock screen that I use during the week. Fantastical, upcoming events, Foodnoms, and Mercury Weather. And speaking of Mercury Weather, that's the main widget here in the top stack on my home screen. I've been testing various weather apps over the last few months, and I've landed on loving Mercury Weather. Disclaimer, they actually sponsor Mac Power Users, but they didn't sponsor this. I've just been using it and pay for it personally. I love the design of the weather app here. I found it to be accurate, even here in Florida with all the different rainfall. And I've been using the Mercury Weather complication on Apple Watch and the widget on iPhone. And it's been great when there's rain coming. I can see the forecast with the hourly even on my iPhone and on my Apple Watch. And the Mercury Weather widget is super customizable. You can choose any background color or have it dynamic to match whatever the current weather is. You can have filled or outlined icons. And if I tap the plus to search for widgets, Mercury has a ton. You can have the weather real big with your location. You have the hourly, daily, and hourly in one widget. If you have an upcoming trip, Mercury really specializes in letting you know what the weather is going to be like at your destination. There's great weather radars with precipitation and a storm tracker. When hurricane season comes up in Florida, I'm going to be using that a ton. Mercury Weather has been accurate and the design is beautiful. Highly recommend. You can try it for free, and there is a subscription model. I'm paying for premium personally. I'm actually changing to the yearly plan in my next cycle here, but it's either $3 a month or $15 a year. You can also pay for the family plans. And Mercury has great options for the lock screen as well. You see here you can have the weather in a larger size or that individual, which I have up here. You can have the daily, sunrise and sunset, UV index, lots of great lock screen widgets as well as home screen. Next, I did a whole video on podcast apps, and I do find Overcast is one of the best audio listening experiences, but one thing I love about the Apple Podcast widget is it will change color depending on what show you're playing. So if I start playing my podcast Top 5 Tech, that comes out every Friday, you can subscribe right here. You can either watch or listen in Apple Podcasts. I love how that widget will change depending on the color to kind of match what's going on. If I play Primary Technology, like our latest episode here, you can see that the widget will change color, the little album artwork changes. I love all of that. The Pocket Cast widget is also nice. It doesn't change color like the Apple Podcast one, but you can start and stop playing right here on the widget. And the Overcast widget does that as well. Doesn't change color, but you can play and pause right here from the widget. But I do find I like the play and pause button left aligned rather than here in the center, because you got the artwork on the left, the title on the left. I don't know. I feel like I like the left justified more. Also, if you're listening to music a lot, the music app can just put a widget right here on your home screen. It also changes color depending on what album you're playing, and you can play and pause right here. Also, with the podcast apps that I just mentioned and Apple Music, there's a bunch of different sizes of widgets. So if you use Apple Podcasts, you can have the small, medium, or large size widgets. You can also choose a specific show if you want to play that, rather than just showing your up next queue. Pocket Cast also has multiple widgets from small, medium size, and the large ones. And Apple Music, same thing. Small, medium, large. And you can even have top charts, recommendations, lots of different widget options there. Now another progress type widget, you have the Invites app if you want countdowns, but I really like Pretty Progress. There's great options just for the free version. If you do want to pay for Pretty Progress, which opens up a bunch of of other things. It's $25 a year. Oh, or you can get $60 lifetime access. That's pretty tempting, actually. But Pretty Progress can do countdowns to an event. It can show you a percentage done for the day, like 44% is done of today, Friday, how many days have passed in a month, or how much percentage is left, and even give you a yearly percentage countdown. I really love the design aesthetic of Pretty Progress. Lots of great widgets. I recommend that. And next to it is Scorecard. I've been using this app for years. I don't know if I've ever mentioned it, but I keep track of things like my kids' sports games. If we ever play a board game like Scrabble, I keep track of all the scores right here in Scorecard. You can see my son's football games are one of the most tracked things here, but what's nice is you can actually put the current scores of whatever you're tracking right here in a widget. Now, unfortunately, you can't change the scores from the widget, but you can tap it and jump in and then add whatever points you have here. I'm not sure who the developer is of Scorecard, but I would love the ability to actually add points right from the widget, even if it's just a larger size widget, like these latest scores widget. That would make it even more useful. But I do love the Scorecard app. I use it all the time, and I like the widget. Also, if you're into sports ball, the Apple Sports widget, just the built-in widget, is actually pretty great. You can choose a team or a league. Upcoming games will be shown right here on the widget. And as the game is going, you'll see the live score happening right here. And next to that, in order to use these widgets, you do have to pay for it. It's $5 a month. This is Tide Guide. It is a beautiful app. If you're near the water a lot or you just go to the beach a lot, it might be worth paying for, but this widget is beautiful. You can choose what coast or what beach you're gonna go to. You have the weather conditions here, and also high and low tide, all in this nice pretty graph. The widget gets totally locked if you don't pay for it, which is unfortunate, but if tracking the tides is important to you, recommend. I also thought this widget was pretty cool. Unsplash is a royalty-free image website. They actually have a wallpaper collection. There's new ones every day, and you can even open the app, search for something like wallpapers, and you can download a bunch of these just for free. But the widget will actually change every day, or even more often. I can choose to tap and hold, edit the widget. I can update that image daily, every 3 hours or every 6. Choose a theme like nature, editorial, or just textures and patterns. And then I can keep an eye on that widget, and if there's ever an image that I want to save to use as my wallpaper, I can just tap download here, and it will save to my camera roll. And there's the image right there in Photos. So nice way to just kind of see wallpapers out of the corner of your eye and save one if you like. Next, I've been using Parcel to track all my packages because it actually works with all the service providers like UPS or FedEx here in the US. They have small, medium, and large size widgets. I have it right here in my Today view to the left of the home screen, and I can keep an eye on my packages. Also, I use Drafts for a bunch of different things, and Drafts has an awesome widget where you can quickly go into create a new draft, quickly search, dictate a draft, or go to your inbox with all your past drafts. Every time I share something on social media, I like writing it in drafts first. I actually have a shortcut that pulls the links to the latest podcast episodes and then creates the draft automatically. But I like the widget. You can quickly jump into dictate or create a new draft with that plus button. Yes, Drafts gets 5 stars. All right, going back to my main home screen, my wife and I use AnyList to keep track of groceries, syncing lists, and I have that widget down here in this stack. I have it showing what's for dinner tonight, and I can jump in, I can see if I need to buy anything for dinner, and yes, we sync all these lists together. I know I have to get some groceries today for a birthday party this weekend, and AnyList has just been my go-to app. I use it on my Apple Watch when I'm actually grocery shopping. Absolutely love AnyList. They also have widgets to see what's on one of the lists, and you can choose a list here, small, medium, and large size widgets. And you can also have these multiple lists if you want to add something quickly from the home screen, you can do that too. Next, I wanted to mention Apple Maps actually has a widget, and if you're ever traveling, it can actually be pretty useful. You'll see you can quickly search maps or just tap the little food icon and it will show you a bunch of food options near you. I wouldn't use that widget all the time, but if you're traveling or on a road trip, that can be pretty useful. Oh, and speaking of location, if you have friends and family in the Find My app and you all share location, you can actually use the Contacts widget, and this not only gives you quick access to your contacts, so I have my whole family here, and then you can actually tap on someone and open their contact info. You can quickly message, call, or you see the downtime option here. But if you actually have location labels, you actually can see their location quickly right here in the Contacts widget. Search for the Contacts widget, and you'll see you can have the medium-sized widget, and there's only one option here, but that medium-sized widget, you can then choose which people are shown in the widget. There's also a great Find My widget, and here you can choose to either display a single person, or you can choose one of the items in your Find My, like an AirTag, a wallet like the Moft wallet. I actually have that on my phone right now. And you can display one of those items in the map. Also, I do have the battery widget here in my Today view, so I can quickly see my AirPods, Apple Watch, and phone. And just so you know, you can also put battery widgets here on your lock screen. If I customize, click the widget area, and then go down to batteries, you can actually add individual devices like AirPods and have those always on your lock screen so you can check your battery with the little circle right here. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't mention 2 incredible apps for custom and third-party widgets. One is Widgetsmith by _David_Smith, same developer as Pedometer++ that I mentioned earlier. I use Widgetsmith for several different things. You can do things like steps, but I'm actually just using the individual photo widget. This way it's a single photo, it never changes. But there's a bunch of other options that you can use here. You can even create things like transparent widgets that will match the wallpaper, have weather stuff, but I use Widgetsmith just to have a single photo on my home screen in my evening and weekend focus modes. Widgetsmith is great, and you can also check out Widgy. Widgy has a bunch of different widgets you can try. I think it is paid. There are some features behind a paywall if you want to unlock all the lock screen features and things like that. But if you go to the Explore tab here in Widgy, I had that NASA Photo of the Day hack. Thanks to someone in my Shortcuts community, they pointed out that Widgy actually has a NASA image of the day, just built-in widget that you can add to your home screen. So if you like the look of this better and you want to see the little description and title, you can add that widget to your home screen using Widgy. And last but not least, of course, I use shortcuts in widgets. Here in my Today view, I have my most used shortcuts that I run every time. Just to give you an example, when I'm ready to share the new episode of Primary Tech, I run this shortcut, which gets the link to the latest episode on Apple, Spotify, and on YouTube. This is what the text actually looks like, and then it actually creates a draft in the Drafts app so I can finish writing my social media post. I also have an intercom shortcut which has different messages that I send throughout the house. I have specific recording shortcuts that run different scenes. Yes, I keep track of when we fed our pet snake, and I use a ton of shortcuts from the menu bar on my Mac. And if you want to learn more about shortcuts or see those shortcuts for the action button that I shared recently, check out this video right up here. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. If you have any third-party apps or widgets that you love that I missed in this video, let me know down in the comments or if you have any questions. And if you want to learn more about shortcuts, I actually just launched Shortcuts University. I have a deal going on right now. It is a 12+ hour video course. It's actually 13 lessons. I walk you through building shortcuts from scratch if you've never built one before, all the way up to advanced uses like APIs and Apple Intelligence. You can sign up for Shortcuts University right here, $50 off right now. It's a $150 course, but it's forever access. I'm going to update it as new features are launched in iOS 27 in the future, and you'll retain access forever with that one-time price. As always, thank you for watching. I'll catch you next time.